So last week I told you the story of Amba. Amba who finally drowned herself in the river Yamuna. Just like last week, which opened with a marriage, this week is also a marriage. A marriage in the kingdom of Panchal. The eldest prince, Shikhandi, is getting married. And the whole kingdom is rejoicing. It was just the right marriage. Shikhandi was getting married to Hiranyavarma's daughter. Hiranyavarma was also a king and it was a very, very good, powerful alliance. And everybody in the kingdom was very, very happy. Panchal is rejoicing the marriage of their eldest prince. The marriage happens. But on the very next day, the newly wedded bride comes out and says, I want this marriage to be annulled right away. When asked, she says, I have been made to marry a woman. When everyone looks at Shikhandi, Shikhandi doesn't say one word. He leaves Panchal. Deep into the forest, Shikhandi is walking. Because after leaving Panchal, Shikhandi did not know where to go. All that Shikhandi could feel was grief. So without knowing where to go, Shikhandi just started walking aimlessly and finally wandered right inside the forest. As Shikhandi was walking deeper and deeper into the forest, Shikhandi was feeling more and more dejected. At one point of her journey, Shikhandi meets Sthuna. Sthuna had compassion in his eyes and somehow befriended Shikhandi. Sthuna asked Shikhandi her story. Yes, Shikhandi was a girl. And Shikhandi says that King Drupad and his wife had asked for a boon, for a baby. And a baby was born to King Drupad and his wife. A news was spread everywhere that King Drupad and his wife has given birth to a baby boy. And a prince is born who's going to take over the reins of the kingdom. But actually, a baby girl was born. But the king and the queen decided to raise this baby girl as a boy. She was made to reject her innate feminine nature. She was made to adopt masculinity. She was made to wear clothes of a man. She was made to learn weaponry, whatever a prince learns. And she was made in fact, she had to adopt an identity of a man. To that extent that when she reached her marriageable age, the king wanted to get her married also as a man to a woman. And none of this was Shikhandi's choice. Sthuna takes pity on Shikhandi and says, let's do something. Let's exchange our genders temporarily. Yes, during that time of Mahabharata, gender exchange was spoken about. And gender was exchanged. Sthuna becomes a woman and Shikhandi finally becomes a man. It was supposed to be a temporary exchange, but Shikhandi remained a man and Sthuna remained a woman. Shikhandi went back to Panchal and started living his life as a real prince, as a man. Now, let me take you straight to the battle of Kurukshetra after quite a few years. 10th day of the battle. Kauravas and Pandavas are fighting each other. A lot of Kaurav warriors have died, but one man was the strongest enemy in terms of the battle. One man was almost like a wall for the Kauravas. The Pandavas were not being able to make a breakthrough. That was Bhishma. Bhishma had everything. He was the Pandavas and the Kauravas' grandfather. Therefore, he knew both his grandchildren's shortcomings. He knew what are Arjun's shortcomings. He knew what are Arjun's strength. Therefore, he could strategize that much better. He was a great warrior. And at the same time, he knew Hastinapur, he knew his people very well. So he just knew how to use people. Everything about Bhishma was just right. And the Pandavas were not being able to even come near the chariot of Bhishma. Because Bhishma was fast also. On the 10th day of the battle, Krishna tells Arjun, the time has come to bring Shikhandi. Arjun looks at Krishna. Krishna says, go. Shikhandi is brought. And Krishna says, now, let Shikhandi face Bhishma first. And Arjun, you will be behind Shikhandi. Shikhandi was almost being used as a shield. Shikhandi is standing in front of the chariot. Behind Shikhandi, you see Arjun, and from the other end, Bhishma is rushing down. As Bhishma is coming nearer, Bhishma sees it's not Arjun who's standing in the chariot, but it's Shikhandi. The moment Bhishma sees Shikhandi, something miraculous happens. Bhishma drops his bow and his arrow. He stands absolutely without any weapon, almost to face his death. The moment that happens, Krishna signals Arjun. Arjun starts aiming his arrows right on Bhishma. The arrows start piercing Bhishma, one after the other after the other. And that great invincible Bhishma starts slowly coming down on his knees, sharded with arrows, blood dripping everywhere. Suddenly, out of nowhere, involuntarily, a deep cry, a deep primal animal cry comes from deep within Shikhandi. It was a cry of a woman who is finally getting her mission achieved. A woman who is finally getting her revenge. Yes, Amba was born as Shikhandi. And I told you that I'll tell you what boon Mahadev gave Drupad. Mahadev had said, Kanya Bhutva Pumani Bhavi, that you will have a daughter at present who will become a man in future. And Bhishma had dropped his weapon seeing Amba or seeing Shikhandi because the code of conduct had said that Bhishma will only fight a man, never a woman or never anyone who had once been a woman. Krishna knew about it, thus called Shikhandi. Finally, Bhishma was down on his knees. Shikhandi saw Bhishma getting vanquished. However, Shikhandi did not live to see Bhishma's death. Shikhandi died on the 18th day of the battle. However, Bhishma lived a few more months. But yes, Shikhandi finally saw Bhishma getting completely vanquished. She had finally avenged her insult of her last birth. Welcome to the world of Mahabharata.